Listen, there's a phrase that I've heard hundreds of times throughout my career. I've heard it within dozens of companies from many people within each one of those companies. And every time I hear this phrase, I quite honestly, I get this cringe. And it's not that I believe that these people mean anything bad by it. And it's not that they don't believe it to be true, because I'm sure that they do. But it's a phrase that is used on company billboards. It's used on banners, pamphlets, tags, stickers, shirts. It's used quite widely. It's used everywhere. But by the time we are done with this video, I hope to shed some light on the fact that using this slogan may not be the best idea, and give you an alternative in which we can begin using from henceforth. So let's get going. All right, let's do a flashback. When I was young, too much flashback. Now, back when I was young, I was interested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My priorities for Saturday morning was waking up real early, fixing me a big old bowl of cereal, and plopping myself right in front of the television, watching my Ninja Turtles, my Heathcliff and the Pound Pups. I think that was the name of the cartoon. What else was on? G.I. Joe's, Garfield. That was my jam on Saturday mornings. That was my priority. And when I got done watching my Saturday morning cartoons, I ran outside and played with the neighbor kids. We'd play cops and robbers or army men, or we'd go fishing out in the lake. But those were my priorities when I was young. When I got in high school, my priorities changed. My priorities began to be about partying, hanging out with friends, chasing girls. In college, my priorities changed even, maybe my priorities didn't change in college. But now, I'm 37 years old. Jesus Christ, I'm 37 years old. But now, I have 2 little boys, I have a beautiful fiance, and those are my priorities now. Providing for all of them, being a good dad, and being a good partner. That is what is important to me. You see, my priorities have changed from year to year depending on what interested me or what I thought was important at the time, what's going on in the world. They shifted from one year to the next. But when I get older, my priorities probably just not dying as soon as possible. However, my core values, those have always stayed the same. Family, friends, being a good person, just helping out those that are in need, and being able to come home to my loved ones each and every day. Those are the things that I have held on to since I can remember. Those are the things that don't change, they don't shift, they don't adjust. They are just there. And regardless to whatever happens in my life or within the world around me, those are what's going to hold true from today until the end of time, at least until the end of my time. But that's how we should look at safety. I know by now many of you have probably already figured out as to what phrase I have been leading up to. Let's all say it together now. Safety is our number one priority. It isn't. It might be for the moment, but it isn't indefinitely a company or person's number one priority. I'm going to catch a lot of slack for this video, but just hear me out. Companies are made for one purpose only, and that is to turn a profit. And when things start to happen and the schedule is impacted or they are in jeopardy of not producing their product or service that they are offering, well, then they make sudden shifts at that point. Safety is no longer the number one priority. Safety typically takes a back seat to production or schedule. Just a harsh reality. Because at this point, now we got to get to work and make up for what was lost. It's like that for thousands of companies, and you honestly can't really blame them. They are in it to make money, and they need to do what they can to do that. Companies don't use this phrase, safety is our number one priority, knowing that when the rubber hits the road, they're going to shift priorities. It's not what goes through the company's or the CEO's mind at the time. Sometimes it just sounds like the right thing that should be said at that time. I mean, the only reason that I am talking about this is because I look at things from a different perspective. I've worked health and safety for nearly 20 years. That is my focus. Their focus is on business management and running a successful business. That is what they focus on. So what can be done to change this? What can be done to actually change our shift from being a priority to becoming a core value? Well, it won't be easy. This slogan has been around for a very long time. But the way we can make safety a core value is by embedding safety practices into our everyday activity. And stop thinking about health and safety as an afterthought. Stop thinking about health and safety as an added step into the process. Enforce safety when it makes sense. I saw this picture the other day and someone said that, oh, this wouldn't have happened if they had their safety glasses on, and that's just ridiculous. But believe it or not, there are some health and safety professionals At this point, they're just health and safety people that would chastise this person for not wearing glasses instead of actually coaching him on the issue of not wearing gloves. And there's really more issues to this picture than just not wearing gloves. Like, he probably shouldn't have had his finger right behind that point. It's see, some of the safety is just common sense. Electrical has their own set of standards and codes. So does engineering. So do ironworkers and welders. Why do we put so much emphasis on keeping up to standards when it comes to the actual work that it is being done, rather than putting an emphasis on the health and well-being of the ones doing the work? Electrical, engineering, ironworkers, welders have their own standards that have to be upheld, and so does health and safety. Except the health and safety standards and regulations are federal regulations. So embed safety into the day-to-day. Start trying to engineer some of these hazards out of the work area, out of the work group. Get health and safety involved in the planning for the activities. Health and safety, we're not there to stop the production. We're not there to keep people from working. We're there to help you be able to continuously push out your product or continue to provide your service while keeping people safe at the same time. And if this is done correctly, neither schedule nor production have to suffer. When safety becomes a hindrance, when things start to happen that shouldn't be happening, sometimes, most of the time, whatever, it happens because people are not following what they're supposed to be doing. They're not following the process, they're not following procedure, they're just not doing what they're supposed to do. I've already said that, but it's true. And there are times here and there where something happens and it's neither one of the cases, but most often than not, it's because people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, instead of saying safety is our number one priority, start saying safety is our core value. But when you say it, you better damn well mean it.